Now let's talk about schema. So again, end of story, use schema. You should already have schema on your website. If it's WordPress and you're using Yoast is generating schema for you. You've got schema somewhere, most likely. If you don't, there's a lot of good training out there to figure out how to get some schema. You can write into support if you really don't know, and we can send you, a couple links. But you definitely want to use schema. When you're crafting that schema, make sure that you include a link to the Press Advantage organization page in the same as block, as that's, for that. Prompt Google to tie everything we do back together with that entity. And then don't forget about the schema block that you get on a per press release basis as well. That can really add some specific relevant schema. Obviously, the example you've probably heard me use before is if you are working with a real estate agent and they list a $500,000 house, you could include some listing specific schema in the press release that announces that listing. And it's a great way to get some more relevance in there. We've had people use these per release blocks to get rich snippets in place, all kinds of fun stuff. So it's got to be pure JSON, which may make sense. It's the stuff that's inside of the script tag. So if you're looking at the source code of your website or something like that, it's the piece that's in the JSON LD script tag. We do now support you pasting the whole script tag in. We'll just take it out of there. That used to be a problem with us. We do see a lot of folks using complicated schema that is not valid JSON. It has to be valid JSON. So use a linter like jsonlint.com where you just paste the schema in and ask it to verify it, make sure that it's syntactically correct. Is probably the biggest problem that people have with uploading schema to our site, is that it doesn't validate correctly. Now, the one thing that's not on this slide that I do want to point out, and this is something that is developed over the last week and a half, is on that per release schema block. I had a couple of customers over the last week, and one in particular who's very let's say he gets very intricate into how he uses schema and other technical SEO. He wanted the ability to include like the link, the Press Advantage link for that press release, but you don't have that when you're putting the schema in place. So one of the things that we've got on the feature list to get developed is the ability to use kind of tags in that schema, so you can insert things that are specific to that press release or specific to our system itself, that lets you, so for example, you might the publish date or like the URL, or automatically include the organization page, or something like that that's specific to that press release. You'll be able to include that dynamically, and that should make that that generation of the per release schema just a little bit easier. So if there's any tags or anything like that that you think would be useful for us to add to that, make sure to reach out to support and let us know.